So does anyone remember when my channel intro was actually a song from this album? Hey, why not? I'll put that as this intro. Do you guys remember that intro? I do. Anyway, hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. And finally, it's time for another album review. It's finally time for another album review, is what I meant to say there before I went. Yeah, I'm really excited to do this. Album reviews are always one of my favourite videos to film. And I haven't done one in a while because I've been really trying to work on the album ranking board, and I do believe it is finally finished. So, of course, hopefully near the end of this video, we will see the debut of the new album ranking board. If it isn't there, it means something's gone wrong in the editing, and I apologise for that now. But it will definitely be in the next one, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be in this one. So anyway, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and wait till the end of the video and just hope it pops up. Also, people are probably already going to be thinking I've titled this video wrong, because this album that I'm reviewing today is, of course, the Electric Light Orchestra's Zoom, this album right here. And it is, of course, under the name Electric Light Orchestra Zoom. But it is actually, the only member of ELO on this album properly is Jeff Lynne. Richard Tandy makes a small appearance, I believe. So it really is a Jeff Lynne project. So what I've done is, I've called this album review what you would call Jeff Lynne's last album. This is Jeff Lynne's ELO's Zoom. So hopefully that's okay. Because what I'm doing is, I'm doing ELO albums in chronological order. So I've done ELO 1. I didn't do ELO 2 because I'd done it before my album reviews got rebooted. So I did skip ELO 2. And then I done on the third day, only about 2 months ago. And then it was possibly a year ago now, I started to do Jeff Lynne solo. So I started with this great album, Armchair Theatre. So now I'm following Armchair Theatre up with the next solo Jeff Lynne project, which is this one here, Zoom. So yes, don't worry, the ELO albums are still going in chronological order, so the next ELO album up I review will be Eldorado. And Jeff Lynne, the next Jeff Lynne album up I'll review will be, of course, A Long Wave just over here. So we're kind of going at two different waves here, with Jeff Lynne solo and the Electric Light Orchestra as a band as they were. So anyway, that's me rambling enough. Done with the rambling. Let's get on to the album, because there's a lot on this album. It's a long album. It's a 13-track album. Nearly slipped up again there. It's a 13-track album. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a bit of information on the album. We're going to go over each track individually. We're going to mark each track individually out of 10. Then I'm going to show you my copy of the vinyl record. We're going to mark the artwork for this album out of 10. Then we're going to add up all the scores given, so all 13 tracks plus the album artwork. Divide it by 14 because that's the total number of scores given, which will give us an overall marking for this album out of 10. But then we're going to go over to the album ranking board, put it on there and see where it ranks compared to other albums I've reviewed here on this channel. And then finally we'll be done. So anyway, this album was released on the 12th of June 2001. It was the second solo effort from Jeff Lynne. And if you're going to put it in the ELO rankings, it's technically the 12th. Of course, Armchair Theatre had no ELO references, so you discard that one. If you do want to include Armchair Theatre and say what number album project is it Jeff Lynne was working on, then it would be 13th. The album did very poorly in the charts, which is very unfortunate. I think it was just a bad time for these kind of classic rock artists. A lot of other artists were suffering, including Mr. Eric Clapton, whose Reptile didn't do great. Paul McCartney's Driving Rain didn't do great. And then, of course, you know, the list is endless. A lot of the classic, really good old rock musicians, their albums just weren't doing good at this point, regardless whether they were good or bad, because this is a good album. And it only hit number 34 here in the UK, and it only hit 94 in America. The sales in America were 18,000. However, when this album got reissued on vinyl back in 2013, the sales for it went up a lot, because enthusiasm for vinyl had come back, enthusiasm for these old classic rock artists had come back, ELO was starting to come back strong. By 2015, they were back permanently with Alone in the Universe. And the sales in America went from 18,000 to like 85,000, which is ridiculous. So it just shows it wasn't the album's fault that it done bad, it was just a bad time to release the album, clearly. But the album's quite an interesting one, because As I say, Jeff Lynne did put it under the name Electric Light Orchestra, which is very strange because as I say, the only other member of ELO who appears on this album is Richard Tandy, the keyboardist, but he plays a very minor part. Other than that, it is completely Jeff Lynne again, just like Long Wave and Alone in the Universe. However, you do get a couple guest appearances from Mr. Ringo Starr on drums, believe it or not. And very sadly, the last known performance, or the last known release from Mr. George Harrison before his sad death. So if you want to hear the last thing George Harrison done before he passed away, it's on this album, not Brainwashed, because Brainwashed was in the making for a few years before he passed. So apparently, the last things he recorded before he got really ill and couldn't play anymore was for this album. So there's that interesting factor to it. One really annoying thing about this album is 2 great songs were cut from it. And I could easily swap out a couple songs on here, I think. One of the songs you can get on the vinyl. On the 4th side, you get bonus tracks. You get One Day and Turn to Stone Live. So scrap the Turn to Stone Live, because no one cares about that, because we got like a live album here, we've got a live album here, you've got the Hyde Park bootleg vinyl, which I also have tucked away on the shelf up there. But One Day is a great song. That song should have stuck on the album because it's a really good song. So unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about it because it's not on the official release of the album. But that is a great song. That would probably get an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for me. The other song which got cut, which you can only get on the Japan CD pressing of the album, the original pressing, is Long Black Road. And it's amazing. It has the best guitar riff of the whole album, has some of the best vocals, it has a nice little jazzy bit around the middle, and that honestly would be a 10 out of 10 song for me. That is the best song recorded for this album, in my opinion. Thankfully, you can get it on vinyl now. You have to go and buy the soundtrack to the film American Hustle, which came out in 2014. Yep, 2014. And this is filled with all great songs from Steely Dan's Dirty Work to who else we got on here? Tom Jones' Delilah, Wings, Live and Let Die, Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, The Bee Gees, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart. And all of a sudden you get a couple random ones chucked on here. One of them being the Electric Light Orchestra's Long Black Road, which you can see just there. And there's also another ELO song on here which you can't get anywhere else. Or it's actually just called Jeff Lynne, this one. It's Stream of Stars. It's a really nice jazzy instrumental song, which is really nice. So yeah, I'd recommend to ELO fans picking up this soundtrack. The vinyl itself is nice, it's colour vinyl, and the other music on it's great as well. You've got David Bowie, Paul McCartney, Elton John, all that kind of stuff, so it's good stuff. But anyway, let's get started on the tracks now. So the first track up is, of course, the song which I used to have for my intro. Kind of miss it, but I love my new intro so much more, from Dr. Robert, so of course I'm keeping that one. But it is alright. And the song is very much more than that. It's got a great guitar riff which opens up the album, opens up the song, the whole album really well. The lyrics are good and flow really well into the chorus and whatnot. Sometimes you can feel lyrics are forced when flowing into the chorus, but this song isn't like that. It just works so well, it's perfect. The vocals are great. The backing vocals, of course, which are also done by Jeff, are fantastic, and it feels like classic ELO. And the guitar solo is so much fun. It's hard for me not to give this song a perfect score, but I'm going to knock it down to a 9 because there are a couple bits where it's like maybe the chorus could have had a bit more of a build to it. But it's a really, really solid song. Really solid song. Next song up is Moment in Paradise, and another funny thing is I had to analyse this song, back when I was doing media studies, and I was practicing to become something in the media, maybe a director or a music producer or something like that. But of course that never happened. I'm not that lucky. You know, I mean, it might seem like I have a job like that with all the records that I buy, but no, I'm not in the media. Although I was studying to go into the media. But I analysed that song and I was going to make a music video for it, but the group I was with then decided to do a different song. So I nearly done a music video for this song, which is really cool. Moment in Paradise, because it's a really good song. There's a lot going on in it. It's a really fun, uplifting song. The lyrics are just beautiful to it, like really nice. And it's a nice change from Alright, because Alright is a very guitar-driven song. This one goes into a nice piano-based song, which is really nice. And Jeff's trying some modern vocals, I think, at the start, where he does his little You know, it's like, I haven't heard Jeff do that before. Clearly, the modern influence of modern musicians from the very early 2000s and the late 90s was getting to him on this song, but it works really well. He does it really well. And it's a shame he doesn't do it again on the album, and it's a shame he hasn't done it since on, well, it wouldn't have worked on this one, but on this one. Yeah, it's got a very catchy chorus again. It's got a nice jazzy guitar solo, jazz influence as well. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a really good song. You can tell there's a lot of influence on it, and really good. Then we get a track called State of Mind, which is the first of Jeff's rock and roll songs. We all know Jeff likes to play tribute to the great rock and roll genre. And he does about 3 or 4 tributes to it on here. And this is the first one. And it's a great toe tapper. It's got an amazing chorus with lyrics which work just brilliantly. And the best bit is the slower beat. The best bit is the song takes a slow bit. It takes like a back step and slows down, and that's my favourite part of the song. And then it's followed up by this amazing guitar solo. So it's like you go from this really catchy toe tapping song to an even better song, in my opinion. And then you get this fantastic guitar riff, and the song's great. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, it's not perfect. You know, rock and roll isn't my favourite genre of music. But it's a really good song. It's a really good song. And then we get Just for Love, which is a slower acoustic song. And this is him somewhat paying tribute to the Beatles, of course. The Beatles, you know, Jeff Lynne always talks about the Beatles and Roy Orbison. They're his two big loves. So he loves paying tribute to them. And while there isn't really a Roy Orbison tribute on this album, this feels like a Beatles tribute song almost. You can tell it's done in a very Beatlish style. It's a nice song, but the chorus where he sings the line "Just for Love" kind of drones on a little bit. And there's a couple songs on this album which feel like this. This is, of course, one of them. And yeah, it just drones on a bit. But the rocking part, which kind of follows it up, saves the song from becoming kind of a boring song. It's not boring, it's not. It's very unfair for me to say that about it, because it is interesting at the start. And the chorus is okay, it's just the chorus just drones on and he does it too much, and he comes back to the verses too much. It's a good song though, it is good. I'm going to give it a 7. I don't want to be too critical on it, because it's not a bad song. It's just, for me, I find it a bit... droning is a great word for it, I think. Then we get Stranger on a Quiet Street, which almost feels a bit of like a punk song with the keyboards at the start, and I love it. It's great. Sounds very ELO, like early 80s, like Time and Secret Messages, and even the 78, 79, I think it's 79 album, Discovery, with the backing vocals. Sounds fantastic. It's a very fun toe-tapping song. Again, I don't think loads of this song now. It's not one which sticks out in my mind like, oh, I've got to go back to that one. So I'm just going to give this one a 7 out of 10 as well. And then we get a track called In My Own Time, which is a song which I've been craving for from Jeff, really. It's a song which I really wanted on Alone in the Universe. I'm really hoping we get it on the next album from Jeff, because there's some violin on this one, guys. I'm presuming it's all done on the keyboards, though, because there is no one credited to playing violins or no orchestra on this album. But, yeah, you can hear it. It sounds like a violin, and it's great. I mean, it sounds like classic ELO almost at the start, which is exactly what I want from Jeff. I want to get a classic ELO sounding record again. And the vocal range on this song is fantastic. Literally, it's he's all over the place. It sounds fantastic. This shows why Jeff is probably one of the best, if not the best, vocalists to come out of the 70s. You know, fantastic. It's a very good song. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Then we get Easy Money, which is another rock and roll track, and it's my favourite of the rock and roll tracks. It jumps to the chorus a lot, which, of course, is very traditional to the genre. It's fantastic. The lyrics are kind of silly, but isn't that what rock and roll is? I mean, tell me a rock and roll song which has great lyrics. The lyrics do what they need to do. They still make sense to a certain extent. And it's good. It's a good song. Yeah, one of the best tracks on the album, I'd say. Easily the best rock and roll style track. I could give it an 8 out of 10. And then It Really Doesn't Matter is the next song. And this song slows the album down again, which you do need after these rock and roll songs. However, this is the song which I have very similar feelings for as I do as Just for Love, where the song kind of feels a bit drony. It just doesn't really do too much. It does, as I say, drones, but then it has some really great moments, again, which save the song again. Which is why I have almost identical feelings towards this song as I do for Just for Love. Because there are bits on this song which I love, like the guitar solo, Jeff's vocals are good. But again, it does drone, the verses aren't that interesting, and then the chorus is kind of drony. But the bits that save it do recapture my attention. So I'm going to give this song a 7 out of 10. Then we get a track called Ordinary Dream, which is a little bit of an acoustic-y type number. It starts off like that. But then, of course, after you get past the first verse, it just kind of goes, well, hey, we're not going to just do a little acoustic song. We're going to kick it up a bit. Which is good. The chorus is great. Amazing vocals from Jeff. I don't know what to say about this song because I really, really like it. It's a fantastic song. I'm going to give this track a 9 out of 10. It's one of the better ones on the album. And then we get A Long Time Gone, which has a really nice guitar start to it. And that's one of the best things I can say about this song. This is, for me, the weakest track on the album. Long Black Road should have 100% replaced this song. If not, One Day should have 100% replaced this song. What were you thinking, Jeff? But, you know, the song's okay still. It's not bad. There isn't a bad song on this album. There wasn't a bad song to come out of this recording session. It's fantastic, the stuff that Jeff come up with for this album. But yeah, it's I don't know. The song just, again, drones again. I hate to keep using that word, but it seems like Just for Love, it really doesn't matter, and A Long Time Gone, they all must have been recorded within the same space of time because they all feel very similar. They all are drony songs. This one gets hit the most because there isn't much interesting stuff to pull me back in this one like there was on the other two. The chorus isn't great on this one, I think, is the problem. So I'm going to give this track 6 out of 10. It's not a bad song, it's not, but it's easily the weakest one on here. It's easily the one that people are going to skip over. And again, it's the most forgettable one on here. And we got 3 songs left. Melting in the Sun is the next track up. And this is potentially my favourite track on the album. So I'll already get it out of the way with. I'm going to give this track a 9 out of 10 as well. It's a bit faster and back to the fun kind of feeling that songs like Moment in Paradise and In My Own Time have. The chorus is amazing to start with. The vocals are amazing. I just love the feel of this song. Some people probably aren't going to like it. They're going to go, it's too short, it's too fun, it's too upbeat, and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I really like the styling of this song. I really like the feel it has. I really like what Jeff captured, especially in the chorus. It's fantastic. 9 out of 10. All She Wanted is the next one. It is the last of the rock and roll songs. And probably the weakest, I'm not going to lie. Good lyrics with good vocals. And the guitar is top thing on this song again. The guitar is what does it. The guitar is just fantastic. Yeah, it's a good song. It's okay. Nothing too amazing. I'll give it a 7. And the last track up is Lonesome Lullaby. The final song opens amazingly with probably the best guitar work on the whole album on here. And it builds really well throughout the choruses. The first chorus, you don't immediately then go into... it builds really well through the verses. In the first verse, you don't immediately go into the chorus, which is nice. But then when you do go into the chorus, it's really well deserved. It's really good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So anyway, here is my copy of the vinyl record. It is still shrinked. Sorry, guys. We're not going to get to look at the gatefold. But I have seen pictures of the gatefold online, so I am going to still put that into my judgment of the artwork. But I absolutely love the cover. It's a fantastic cover. And the back cover's a bit plain, but hey, it's alright. It looks really nice, because when you open it up as a gatefold, it does look good. I've got the CD. I should have brought the CD over here to show you guys the gatefold. But it's all the way over there. So anyway, we'll have to leave it for now. But the gatefold of the CD is, for the remastered CD, which I have, is exactly the same as the vinyl. So the inner sleeves are nice because you get a full centre label, which I really like, and then of course the other side has the track listing. So again, the artwork's really nice. This is one of ELO's best covers. Feels very reminiscent of Out the Blue, which I love. So, yeah, I'm going to give the artwork for this an 8 out of 10. So out of 10, adding all those scores up, all 13 songs, plus the album artwork, so 14, we're dividing it by 14. This album's getting out of 10 a 7.8. So it's a 7.8 for this album out of 10. So yeah, what we're going to do now is, fingers crossed, look at this, I can't cross my fingers. We are going to head over to the album ranking board and see the new album ranking board finally. So let's head over there. So yes, here we are, over to the album ranking board. First off, I'm going to apologise if my voice sounds muffled. I'm recording through my computer microphone, so it's not very good. Here's the album ranking board. It looks very small at the minute, so we're going to enlarge that in a minute. So yeah, just wanted to say, here it is. It's a digital one. I thought doing a digital one would be best because I can then edit it and move it about. I'm not very good with editing and whatnot, so yes, I have done it on a very simple software. So I apologise to those who know what they're doing when it comes to softwares and etc. Anyway, let me zoom in. So here we go, number 10. We got all the albums which have been reviewed on here before. So we've gone down to the 9 section there. See a lot of albums which have got 8s and above. And then if we go down a bit more, there we go, there we go. There is Zoom on a 7.8. So it's actually the highest one in the 7 to 8 category. Just beating out Fleetwood Mac's Mirage, Madness, One Step Beyond, and quite a few other albums there. But let's have a look at all the other albums it's beat if we have a little scroll down. I still haven't added my Paul McCartney and Wings, Venus and Mars to the list. That's the only album review which is missing its score at the minute. And it's very dull down here. We need to get an album down here at some point. So give me some suggestions in the comments, guys, to really, really shitty old albums which I could review to get in that low section. But anyway, there's the list, as you can see. Zoom hasn't done too bad there. So, yeah, it's a good spot for it. Anyway, back to normal me. Boy, I'm really hoping I could do the album ranking board, because if not, I look really stupid. Let's head over there, and then, boy, straight back here. But anyway, hopefully you guys saw the album ranking board. 7.8 out of 10. I noticed that Armchair Theatre got higher, and I actually prefer this album over Armchair Theatre, so it's kind of funny how the rankings for my albums end up, because I do generally think that the songs on Armchair Theatre are better. A lot of them, you know, you can tell that Jeff's working with more people on Armchair Theatre, and it has that Will Breeze vibe, which is really nice. But as a whole, this album flows better, and I tend to enjoy it more as a whole. So it's very strange how this album ranking board ends up working, but it's good anyway. So anyway, that's my first album review back with the new album ranking board. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I will see you guys next time for another video.